And Rob, they interesting situation with the Nationals. Speaking of them, one of their World Series, their postseason heroes last year, the young kid, 21 years old, Juan Soto, the outfielder, got a great future. Yes, great future ahead of him. Was terrific in the playoffs last year. Really was good all season. Hit 34 homers, 110 RBIs, and then in the playoffs, 5 homers, 14 ribbies, Rob, in the postseason. So he was prime hot young player, yes. But he tested positive for the coronavirus, right? Here's the problem. So he's missing tonight's game. The problem is he took the test. For some reason in Major League Baseball, it takes 2 days to find out what the results of your test are. Now, Rob G, in the NBA, isn't it that same day?
Yes, that is correct.
So why in the world is it taking baseball 2 days and it's taking basketball? How long is it even taking basketball?
Well, number one, it is cheaper. Number two, it's been said by a lot of medical professionals, I don't know how legitimate it is, but it's been said that the ones that take longer for the results are more accurate.
Than the
instant ones.
It's like the pregnancy test. The ones you get at the 99-cent store, you're not always sure on those.
So is that what basketball did? They went to the 90. They saved money on their test. But here's the thing: Juan Soto took his test 2 days. When did he find out? Today, Rob, or yesterday?
Found out today.
Today. So he took his test on Tuesday. But he found out today he's positive. He's asymptomatic. Tuesday, Rob, since Tuesday, he's had all types of interactions. He's been participating in practices. He's had interactions with his teammates, yet somehow none of them is sitting out tonight's game except for Juan. And there's a rule in Washington, D.C.
Now, when you say a rule, is it a is it a protocol?
I mean,
you know what I mean? There's no law in place.
It's not a law yet.
Right, it's protocol.
But it's a recommendation. Is it more than a recommendation, Rob?
Is that the right
Here's
word?
What it is.
Right?
It's a Washington, D.C. rule. It says mandating, okay? Mandating that anyone coming into contact with someone who had the coronavirus needs to self-quarantine for 14 days. So that would really mean that essentially all of his teammates or anybody who, was anywhere near him yesterday within 6 feet, which I'm sure probably happened with several teammates, would have to quarantine for 2 weeks according to this rule in Washington, D.C. So they're flouting. I'm not going to jump on, but they're not following the rules. They're not following the rules.
After everything that was set up for opening day night, that they would be like, okay, we're not playing. We're going to cancel the game, and we're going to wait 2 weeks for the Nationals.
I get it. I get what you're saying, but I'm just like, but what's going on? Are the rules going to be? I totally get it, right?
You know what's going on, Chris, and I'm not making any excuses. That's an ordinance or for people in Washington, D.C.
They are playing in D.C.
I get it. They have this thing set up. And I think unless somebody was feeling ill, because, Chris, we all come in contact with other people every day. You can't.
Not really.
No.
Not now?
I mean, if you go to, I don't know, fast food or the bank or the grocery store, there are people around you, right? I mean.
I'm not going out every day.
So you don't go out every day?
Most days I'm not coming into contact with anybody but my family. Most days.
Okay.
I go for walks out in the neighborhood. Every once in a while I might go to the store. But yeah, I'm really not, not coming into contact with that many
people.
I
think most people have some contact with other people. Maybe not every day, but they do. And I just think you can't shut down everything. If a ball boy, Chris, or a bat boy has it, then everybody on the team can't play for 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Saying, I totally get it. Because
if that's the case, we won't be playing.
Well, that's what I remember, Rob, a few weeks ago. What I say, if what happened in March when Rudy Gobert came down with it and one other teammate got it, and they shut the entire season down. And that it was a couple days later that the nation went on lockdown.
But
New
I think
York
that was
a
at the
lot of
early
parts.
stages where they didn't know.
Yeah, but it's worse now.
No, I get it, but it's not worse everywhere. Like if you look around,
It's
there's
worse
certain
in
places.
California.
Yeah, New York is unbelievable how much
It's
better
worse
it
in
is
Florida.
now. Right. I'm just saying, Chris, this is a heads up for sports as we go forward. It's the same thing in the NBA. If LeBron comes down with it, you shut down the whole Lakers team. They don't
Well,
play.
if LeBron doesn't play, you might as well shut him down.
But you know what I'm saying, right? You think that's not going to happen?
But hold on. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Because look, I'm not mad at you, Rob. I'm just like trying to figure this out. If we're gonna have rules, then we're gonna have rules. And I totally get where you're at, because it would not, Rob, just be shutting down the Nationals.
Right.
Then if you had to shut them down for 2 weeks, what happens to the schedule?
You have to shut the whole league down.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know so I get where you're coming from. I'm just kind of confused.
I think what they're going to do is take people out of the game, or, put them on the sidelines when people test positive, and just keep giving people tests. Now, if the whole team comes down with it, Chris, now we got something totally different. And as we go forward, the same thing. The NFL has to look at this. The NBA has to look at, how are you going to play this?
Well, you mentioned LeBron.
You can't shut LeBron down for 2 weeks, can you?
What if LeBron got the virus? Or
God forbid.
Kawhi,
Let's say that.
Giannis,
Yes.
whoever. God forbid. And they got the virus right before a big playoff series. And LeBron or whoever got it is asymptomatic.
Right.
I mean, I don't think you can let him play. But again, if LeBron James doesn't play, the Lakers might as well not play.
But
if it's playoff time.
I don't think it's the same thing.
So would you say let LeBron play in that instance?
I think
or
he
Giannis
might miss.
or whoever.
I think he might miss some time, but not 2 weeks. I don't think it's going to be 2 weeks.
Well, they are shortening.
Am I right about that?
I heard on Dan Patrick today they were saying if you come in,
4
the rules
days
for football and pro football are different. College football and pro. In college football, if you come into contact with somebody, you have to quarantine for 14 days. This is according to Dan Patrick. If in the NFL you do, it's 2 days. You know what that's called? Money.
No, I get it. That's tonight. I mean, they were not going to call off this game. I mean, they just weren't. And it'll be interesting as we go forward. And with the other tests, we'll have to see, Chris. I know of job instances where people have been in contact with somebody who tested positive. They tested everybody else in the workplace, and nobody else tested positive. It's not automatic.
No, right. Remember the Jazz, only Donovan Mitchell had it from Rudy Gobert. So I get it.
And they were all around him, right? So
but they
not
couldn't
like that.
test the Nationals. I mean, the 2 days doesn't make sense to me. 2 days doesn't make sense to me. They got to get testing that you can find out that day, because otherwise, if somebody may be playing with it right now and coming into contact with other guys, it's just a ball of confusion, Rob. That's all it is.
Because we're in uncharted waters, and they're going to go about it, Chris, as we go along. They don't have all the rules. They don't have everything set up. They don't know. You know what I mean? It's like a trial and error. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm sure the last thing they thought was that one of the national stars was going to come down with it the day before opening day, and he couldn't play.
And the thing is, we don't know everything about the disease either.
No.
You know, some doctors have said it could have long-term effects on your lungs. You know, so I don't know, man. I think this is a sign,
Did you
Rob.
think they should have stopped the game today?
No, I get where you're coming from. I'm just saying, if you make rules, then you have to be ready to abide by them. You have to be ready to abide by.
No, I know, but those rules
That's all
are
I'm saying. So
those are
maybe
DC
make different rules.
Right, those are DC rules, and they're gonna have
but they're
to figure-
playing in DC.
No, I get it. I'm not.
You know,
Chris,
that's all I'm saying.
I'm not
it's just
being-
like a threat. No, I know you're not.
I'm
But it's
not-
like a
Right.
threat. If you make a threat, you got to be ready to follow up, right?
No, I
And it's the
agree.
same thing with. That's all I'm saying. I get totally where you're coming from because it would have been disastrous if they would have called off tonight's game.
Oh, big time.
Disastrous. So I totally understand. I'm not saying they should have. I'm just confused. Because if these are going to be the rules, then we got to, and maybe if that means lessening the rules, you know what I mean? Then fine. But I do think this too, Rob. I don't know why baseball's got a test that takes 2 days to find out. Now,
Yeah.
I get it if they're better. I was tested and I found out the next day. That's 1 day.
Are there some snaps where you get it right away in an hour or 30 minutes?
There are
snap
some
tests
now.
like
Again,
that
they're
too?
probably not as accurate, but still.
Yeah. I think they'll have to figure out where this goes, Chris, this year. I mean, with what's happened to Soto, and then figure out as they go forward. You know what I mean? Like what the protocol is going to be. And I'm sure they're going to test all the players and find out what's going on and see if it did any damage. And I
They
think
probably
from there,
already been tested. Yeah, then that's where we'll find. What if
That's-
several Nationals players and then, I mean, again, you can watch them. They're not in that close of contact with the
Right.
Yankees players.
No,
But
no,
what
no.
if, Yankees players get we just have to wait and see.
Other than being at the plate and at first base, Chris, other than that,
Yep.
you're really not on top of each other.
Right. All right, 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Did the Nationals' handling of Juan Soto's positive test give you pause and cause for concern? All right, Rob, we got a little bit of an update on the Juan Soto situation from the Washington Post, and this is strange, Rob. So apparently, according to the Post,
Okay?
he took 2 instant tests, and both came back negative. So that would be a 1-day test. Maybe it's an hour, 15 minutes, 2 hours, whatever. But whatever the instant test is, he took 2 of them, and they came back negative. And then he took the one that, is prolonged, takes 2 days to get the results back, and it was positive.
Wow.
That's not encouraging.
No. Well, but you know with tests, Chris, that you get false positives sometimes. It ain't exact science. You know that. So there's going to be some instances like that where they don't work out, but they have to work through it and work around it. So that's interesting.
That's
Good
very
update from the
interesting.
Washington
It's
Post.
just something to concern you because are there other players playing with it, but they tested negative instantly?
Right.
And then
But
even
they
in
might
the other
have it.
sports, what about basketball? You know what I mean?
Right.
If they're doing the instant test. So
Well, the big
look,
thing
man,
is
it's just-
because you could
it's
be
just-
asymptomatic, Chris, and if you
Right.
don't have any symptoms, you don't think you have it and nobody thinks you have it. The people are coughing and wheezing. You go, stay away from them or,
Right.
get them out of there, but that doesn't mean you can't get it from somebody
Well,
else.
and
All right.
remember, baseball players are going home. That's the
Right.
difference.
No
So
doubt.
It's other people maybe that they might come into contact with. But let's get to the phones. 877-99 on Fox. Does
All
this
right.
situation concern you?
Let's go to Sean in Sacramento. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
My uncle's from another mother, man. Hey, I heard y'all
Say
shout
it,
out
Sean.
to OCOC,
Say
a.k.a.
it.
the odd
Say
couple
it.
original callers.
Say
What's
it.
up?
Say what?
Where my Jordans?
We want to know.
Hey, you were supposed to keep that on the low, man. I sent you that text on the low, Chris. Man.
Oh,
But
see?
hey, where my Jordans at, though? Your boy got 3 kids. They all need J's around here.
I
man.
know. Hey, River came through for me. I had to hook River up. River's my man.
Hey, I was
Hey.
gonna ask though, since y'all mentioned the odd couple original callers, the OCOCs, I didn't get a catch while y'all mentioned my homie Marty. What's up, fellas? And Uncle Mark. Good evening, gentlemen.
Of course, you're on there as well. You know that,
Yes,
Sean.
yes.
You one
So
of
what
our
was y'all?
guys.
What was y'all saying? Was y'all just shouting this out because we helped spice up the track a little bit for y'all?
I don't remember what we weren't
Oh,
saying
you talking
anything,
about
were
the?
we?
You talking about my stand up tomorrow?
Oh, it's on your stand-up?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't heard it yet.
No. Chris, we'll wait until tomorrow, but be ready tomorrow. You're gonna definitely.
man.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
And we're gonna let people call in, Sean, so you will be able to comment on it.
Be kind.
I'm gonna have 5 cell phones on deck, man, just to make sure I get in tomorrow. Then, man, I'm about to call in for show.
I don't know how y'all get in every day. Y'all get in whenever y'all want, because people telling me they always trying to call in. It's always busy.
Hey, that's the same way I'm texting you about Jays, Chris. You know I got that back line, man. I always got that back line, too, baby.
So what do you think about this?
What's your point?
So real quick, and the MLB wondering why the Blue Jays still don't have a place to play. They can't follow nobody's rules, man. This is exactly what they was talking about. This is exactly what's going to cause all these issues with the players union, because if they mess around and have a breakout between these two teams, what they going to say then? They should have sacrificed this one game because they had the backup game with the Giants and the Dodgers anyway.
But it would have been 2 weeks. Negative. It would have been 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, are you shutting it down, Sean, for 2 weeks?
For 2 weeks.
But what happens if there's a breakout, though, fellas? The Kings and I forget who the other team was. They didn't even take the court because a referee came into contact with somebody 2 weeks before. So you got to be smart about this, man. You got the world's strongest players union behind them. If there's anything that breaks out, it's going to be their butts on that line, man.
No, I agree with that. It'll be interesting.
And look, let's just keep it real.
Thanks,
we said
Sean.
it before, Rob. I mean, Canada's like, no, period. No.
Yeah,
and
but
we've been a little looser here. A lot looser.
I'm not. I got issues with Canada.
Why?
They're letting the NHL have their playoffs there, Chris. Do you know that? In Toronto and I think Edmonton, I can't remember what the other city is. So they're doing NHL Stanley Cup playoffs in Toronto.
That's
Those
more
are
of a
different
contact sports than baseball.
Right. That's strange to me. I'm not so sure why that is. Blake in Bakersfield, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. Blake.
How you doing, gentlemen?
Doing good.
What's up, man?
Not a lot. Just really quick. I think the way the Washington Nationals handled it was the correct way. You know, if he tests positive, you obviously got to have him quarantined. And he's such an impressive player. You hate for him to sit out last minute. But, you know, the CDC released some statistics a few days ago estimating that 6 to 24 times as many people have contracted the virus as initially thought. So, you know, there are probably people walking amongst us every day who have the virus and we come in contact with it. We don't know it. So
6 to 20. Wow. Even if it's just 6 times the amount, that's so many more people, you know?
Yes,
wow.
Sir, absolutely. But that certainly just kind of, if the death rate ultimately stays the same, then that means the virus is less deadly than once thought, which is good news. I mean, you don't want people contracting it all the time, obviously, but it's still, you know, that's it. So thank you for having me on, gentlemen.
Thanks, Blake. Appreciate it.
Stuff.
Hey, how about Cole in Bakersfield? You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. Cole.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm calling because you guys are talking about this rule in Washington supposedly saying that you got to be quarantined for 2 weeks if you come into contact with someone. But you guys are ignoring the fact that all the other players on the Nationals, they would have been tested just like Soto. So they've been tested and cleared.
No,
they don't need to get quarantined because they've been tested too.
But if it takes 2 days
to
find out the results. But
he's saying the same test that
Soto
took.
was in contact with some of his teammates yesterday.
Right.
So if they tested those guys yesterday, they wouldn't find out the results till tomorrow.
But wouldn't those guys have been tested? Wouldn't they have been tested on the same day that Soto got tested too?
No, I get what you're saying.
But I'm saying he was with them the next day as well. So maybe he can. You know, they're saying you could test negative one day, and the next day you get it.
But I get your point. I get your point that if everybody was tested the same day and he's the only one who was positive, then why shouldn't the other guys be able to play?
Because they've been saying if you come into contact with somebody that has it.
Right, but the normal guy, if you come into contact with somebody in your daily life, you go get tested. It takes a week to 2 weeks to get your result. Baseball's getting in 2 days.
I got mine in 1 day.
Right, but that's not the normal guy. The normal guy.
I'm just a normal guy.
Chris is celebrity. That's
no.
Chris.
I'm just, my wife, my daughters, everybody got it in 1 day.
Chris' wife.
Well,
is
my colleague
doctor.
at work, it took him 2 weeks.
Yeah, look. You know what all this
Thanks,
does?
Cole.
This
Appreciate
underscores, Rob, the confusion. I'm not disagreeing with you guys, but you know what I'm saying? It just underscores the mass confusion of what's going on?
Well, because this is all new and they got to try to figure it out. They're trying to make it work. It ain't easy.
Rob G, you got a little bit of an update. You have the timeline.
Yes, this
on
again.
Juan Soto.
Also,
Where's this from?
Courtesy of the Washington Post. This is how it breaks down. He got tested on Sunday with a saliva test. Worked out right afterwards at Nationals Park. Monday, he plays in the exhibition game against the Orioles. Tuesday, he receives a negative result from Sunday's test, so he takes another one. Wednesday, comes back and works out the Nationals Park. Thursday, gets a positive test from the Tuesday testing. So somehow within, 48 hours, he went from negative to positive that quickly.
Right.
So the fact that these guys on the team are testing negative now doesn't really say a whole lot because their very next test could be positive.
Right.
Yeah, it's all. It's just going to be a work in progress.